Do you ever feel like you're faking it? Do you ever feel like one day at work someone's going to suss out that you shouldn't really be there? My name's Lucy. I'm a leadership coach and former charity chief executive, and I'm here to tell you that you're definitely not alone. Today I'm going to be taking a look at imposter syndrome and how that particularly shows up for people in purpose-driven careers. And crucially, we're going to have a look at some techniques to tackle it. I've been there too. Picture this. I'm in a board meeting surrounded by business leaders decades older than me, and I'm in the Mansion House with the Lord Mayor of the City of London. But what we were there to talk about was his charity fundraising appeal, and he wanted the charity that I was representing to benefit from a year of fundraising events. So I absolutely had to be there, and even though I had a nagging voice of doubt in my ear, I knew that I had lots to contribute. I'd already been working at the charity for years. I knew the cause inside out. I had plenty of examples of the kinds of events we could run and the experience and the data to show how effective they could be. He was in safe hands with us as a charity and with me as the fundraising director. And all I could think was, what on earth am I doing here? Surely they're going to find out that I shouldn't be here. Over my career in the charity sector, I've seen this pattern everywhere. Senior, experienced charity leaders, often women, who feel that they shouldn't be there, who feel like imposters. In fact, just the other day, I was talking to one of my coaching clients. She's a senior leader, she's a director in the charity she works for, she's excellent, and yet she can't get rid of that nagging voice of doubt in her ear. So we were talking through some techniques that she can use. I hope you don't mind this little interruption, but this video is brought to you by me. So I thought I'd advertise my playlist, which is all about how to be happy at work. I'm adding new content every single week, and I really hope you're getting something out of it. If you are, follow along, and I will share the link up here or there or down below. Thanks so much. And back to dealing with imposter syndrome. Let's unpack imposter syndrome and exactly why it affects people in purpose-driven careers so much. Firstly, it's that the mission matters to you, which means that every little thing that goes wrong can get amplified because it matters to the cause that you're so very passionate about. The second reason is that you're surrounded by extraordinary people every day who are doing extraordinary things. And that can mean that the work that you're doing feels small in comparison, but it's not. It's all part of the greater whole. The third reason is that many of us moved into leadership because of the experience that we've got, rather than necessarily through training. So that can mean that we came up through program work rather than through financial work, and now we're managing budgets. Or we came up through fundraising rather than policy, and now we're managing the strategic direction of the whole organisation. That can make us feel like we're in uncharted territory and can really play on our mind. High achieving leaders of all genders experience imposter syndrome, but there are three reasons why it can hit especially hard. The first is to do with success. As you're successful, you get promoted, you get asked to take on more responsibility, which can then feed into feeling unworthy or feeling like you haven't got the experience that you need. The second is the curse of knowledge. The more experience you get, the more you realise you don't know. So you realise there are more questions, you're leading in uncertainty. And that can again feed into this feeling of insecurity and that you're an imposter. And the third one is particularly relevant to people working in charities, where authenticity and honesty is so valued. And yet if you feel like you're faking it or you don't know the answer to something, then that feeds into that trap of feeling like you're being inauthentic or you're faking it somehow. So let's have a think about ways that we can tackle imposter syndrome. The first is all around how we think about those little messages that we're being fed by that voice of self-doubt. Let's try and reframe them. If there's a voice that's saying to you, "You don't know everything," how about rewording that sentence to, "I'm learning as I go"? When I started out as a chief executive, I didn't know everything. There were lots of things I didn't know. And whilst it sometimes played on my mind that I didn't know everything, I ended up being at peace with that and learning from my colleagues and making sure I had people in my team that knew the things that I didn't necessarily know yet. In fact, I don't think anyone ever knows everything. Let's be real. Maybe there's a voice in your head that says, I got lucky. No, don't listen to that voice. What the voice should be saying is, you were promoted for good reason. Look at all the experience that you've got. Look at all the skills that you've got. It's very easy to think of the things that went wrong in our careers, but what about thinking about all the things that went right? Write them down, have them there in your toolkit. They're things that mean that you absolutely deserve to be in the role that you're in. Maybe think of it this way. If a friend of yours came up to you with all of the experience that you've got and said they were thinking of going for the role that you've got, what would you say to them? You'd say, absolutely, you've got all the skills and attributes ready to go for that role, so don't hold back, go for it. Be a friend to yourself. Let's look at 2 tools that you can use, really practical tools that you can use to try and tackle imposter syndrome. The first is building up an evidence file. So this is something that I use often with coaching clients, where I ask them to write down all the experience and all of the good wins and good things that they've achieved every day. You know, try and keep that diary and build up that bank of evidence so that when you've got that voice in your head saying you don't deserve to be here or you've not achieved anything, have a look at the evidence and you will soon turn that voice around. Maybe before the next big moment, like my moment in that board meeting, take 5 minutes to have a look through that file and remind yourself of all of the great things that you've achieved. The second tool is to do with preparation. And I use this technique myself, and I advise my coaching clients to use it too. So this is to do with spending time prepping, maybe 10 minutes or so, before a high stakes situation, so that you'll get yourself into the best possible frame of mind. So spend about 3 minutes writing down what you know about the situation and the background and the event. Spend another 3 minutes writing down what value you personally bring to that meeting or that situation. The third set of 3 minutes, spend some time thinking about what you want to get out of the meeting. And then the final minute, take some deep breaths and remind yourself that you absolutely deserve to be in that situation and go into that meeting and smash it. This isn't about being overconfident or arrogant. It's about just giving yourself the preparation you need to be as brilliant as you absolutely are. And here's the thing to remember. Feeling like an imposter doesn't mean that you are one. What it does mean is that you care deeply about the work you do, and it pushes you every single day to learn, to develop, to do great work, and it matters. And that pushing yourself forward is where growth happens. So the goal, to be honest, isn't to eliminate these feelings entirely. It's to reframe them and recraft them so that they serve you rather than holding you back. If you're a charity leader struggling with this, I'd love to help. Drop a comment down below or get in touch through the links. I'd love to learn more. This is my life's work. I want to help other charity leaders who are experiencing the kinds of things that I used to experience. And remember, the world needs your unique contribution. The work that you do matters. So don't let imposter syndrome get in the way. I hope you've enjoyed watching. If you've got something out of it, do give it a like or even a subscribe, and maybe let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for